Okay, so when you assemble in layers. So the first thing we're going to do is assemble this bottom layer. And that bottom layer is made up of 6 tetrahedrons. Okay. The second layer that sits on top is made up of 3, and then you cap it off with 1 tetrahedron. All right, so when you assemble, you're going to do it 1 layer at a time, almost like a cake. So I'm going to take my first 6 tetrahedrons and get them in front of me. I always want the tissue paper facing me. Okay, so I'm sitting at the table right now, and the tissue paper edges are facing me, and one is on the left side and one is on the right side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to put it right in front of me. Okay, so right now you can see 1 tissue paper tetrahedron sitting right in front of me. Okay, and the tissue paper is on the left side and the right side. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my next 2 and I'm going to put one so that this vertex right here touches that one. And I'm going to put my second one so that those vertices touch. So again, they're all facing me, tissue paper on the left side and on the right side. Okay. I've got 1, then behind it, away from me, I've got 2, and then behind that, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. Okay. So if you've ever bowled, you know you've got the head pin, which just is blue one. I've got the 2 pins right here, red ones, which are behind it. I've got 3 right there. If I had a 20-cell kite, the next line would be 4. All right, but we have a 10-cell kite, so your first layer is going to be 6, just like I have it set up. All right, you can see that the open faces are facing the camera. All right, so that's the #1 key thing, is to make sure that all the tissue faces the same direction, because that tissue, remember, has got to redirect the air down so that that equal and opposite reaction can happen and create that upward lift. Then it gets easy. Okay, I've got this vertex right here touching this red vertex right there. They're touching each other when I line them up. So those 2 you are going to tie together. So I'm going to take this string from this vertex and this string from this vertex, and all you do is tie them together. So you cross, okay, go under, and this is the important part. You want to pull that nice and tight right there. Pull that nice and tight. And then you're going to go over, stuff the tail through the loop, and pull. And now I've got these 2 tied together where those 2 vertices touched. Now I'm going to come over to this other red one, okay? Because this vertex touches this vertex. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this string from the red one, this string from the blue one, and I'm going to tie the 2 of them together, nice and tight. Then right here, these 2 vertices touch. So I'm going to tie this string to this string. So now I'm going to have the lead tetrahedron tied to the 2 red ones, and then the 2 red ones tied together. Then I'm back here at this far blue one. Well, this vertex right there touches this one. So those 2 have to be tied together. And then this one touches this one. So those have to be tied together. This one touches this middle where the red was. So you're going to tie those together. So this middle area is actually going to have 3 vertices tied together. The 2 red ones, and then where the blue one touches. Then the last one, this vertex is going to be tied to the back of this red one, and then this blue one gets tied to this blue one. The easiest thing to do is like what I have right here. I have a big table. All right? I laid out my first layer. I made sure that the tissue was facing the left side and the right side. So it was all facing the same direction. And then once it's laid out, wherever those vertices touch, you tie those strings together, nice and tight. Okay, the first time you go over and under and pull, that's when you really want to pull it tight. Now later on, if things are loose, we can always tighten them up with a dummy string. So for now, I just want you to try to assemble them as tightly as you can. And the key is, there's two keys. All right? Once you lay them out in your pattern, the first thing is that all the tissue faces the same direction, left edge, right edge. And then the second key is you're tying the two strings together that touch. All right, so I've got a vertice that touches here, vertice that touches here, vertice that touches in the middle. I've got this blue and red. I've got this blue and these two red. I've got this blue and red, and then the back two blue and the back two blue. I don't know how far you'll get today, but if that happens, the next thing is going to be to stack this one right on top. And you're going to just tie those three vertices. So you will be tying something to this one, to the blue one, and to that one with those three strings. So it's 6 layers on the bottom, then 3 on the top, and then 1 on the top of that, making sure that all the tissue faces the same direction. All right, I'll stop recording.